Welcome to Basic Science class. And very quickly before we look at our topic, I want to ask a question, which is poisoning a home accident? I know most times when we hear about food poisoning, for example, or you heard that someone somewhere poisoned his or herself, you are not thinking in direction of accident, you're thinking in the direction of suicide, right? So, but is poisoning a home accident? Can you classify it as a home accident? In the course of this lesson today, you're going to know if poisoning is a home accident or not, if it can be classified as an accident or not. So that will lead us to our topic today, which is accidents. And by the end of today's topic, you should be able to define accident, name the different types of accidents, and also list the common causes of accidents. What are the common causes of accidents? You should be able to list them and also outline the basic safety rules, that is guiding against what accident. That is what we mean by these basic safety rules, those things you need to put in place to avoid accidents. So what is accident? An accident is an unexpected event that happens suddenly and can cause harm or damage to people, things, or the environment. An accident is an unexpected, it's not something you're planning for actually. So it's not something you actually planning to do or you anticipated. No, it happens unexpectedly and suddenly, and it can lead to harm, damage to people, things, or even the environment. So things here, we're talking about properties like cars, building, even some other infrastructure. So, and also to the environment. You might be thinking, how can accidents affect the environment? Most times when there are explosions in some places, explosion is an accident too. The organisms in that environment get affected. When I mean organisms, now we have been talking about, if you have seen our previous videos, you will understand what I'm talking about. That is everything living, you understand? So whether it is plant or animal or microorganisms, so that they are all staying in the environment. So when there is an explosion, there's fire burning in the soil, perhaps maybe there's a petroleum that is spilled out and the fire is burning in the soil. The organism living inside that soil will be affected. That soil itself will be affected, and the people in the environment too might be affected if they are involved in the accident. They lost their life. And also it affects the atmosphere, because some gases are released into the air, and in the process it is affecting the atmosphere, which will in turn affect we humans that are living in that environment. So you can see that accident is not something that is palatable actually. So, and it can cause harm or damage to people, to things, and also the environment. An accident can occur when we are not careful or when we don't follow safety guidelines. So accident occurs when we are not careful. Maybe when you are just too relaxed, you just feel like, wow. For example, someone who have been driving for some time and you just feel so confident of yourself, and you are just using one hand on the steering wheel and you're not even careful, you're on a call with the other hand. Accident can occur because you're not being careful. And also when you don't follow safety guidelines. There are some, we talked about poisoning during our induction question when we were about starting this class. There are some bottles you will see, and they have some labels on it, and they tell you do not take more than this. Maybe even medicine, they tell you do not take more than this portion, even as little as paracetamol is. I permit me to use that word little. Do you know it can serve as poison too when you use overdosage? So when you don't follow safety guidelines, safety rules that have been set down, it can lead to accidents. So let's look at the different types of accidents. Number one is home accidents. And home accidents occur within the confines of our houses. That means it occurs within the confines of our houses. That means it's not happening maybe on the road. No, it's not happening in the school, neither in the church, but within the house. It can happen in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the living room, in the bedroom, anywhere. it can happen anywhere within the confines of the house. For example, in the kitchen, you can have a knife cut. That is an accident. In the bathroom, you can slip and fall. That is an accident. In the bedroom, you can hit your leg on something. That is an accident. In the living room, maybe there was no enough lightning, and you were just trying to get to the cushion. Before you know it, you stumble on something and you fell. So it can happen anywhere. So within the confines of the house, any accident that happens within that premises is called home accident. And home accident is also known as domestic accidents. Domestic accident, and it is defined as those unexpected events that happen suddenly at home, which could cause injuries, death, deformities, and damages of properties. So this is what we call home accidents, and they can include things like falling. I just made mention of maybe the place was not well lighted and you wanted to get something from the living room and you stumble on a cushion and you fall. So falling, burns, like in the kitchen. Maybe you were trying to bring something down from the stove, from the hot stove, and you didn't use any supports and you just put your hand on the steel pot. It can burn your hand. And sometimes maybe the hot water splashed on you. You're trying to bring water from somewhere or turn it from the flask. It can splash on you. That is burns also. Cuts. You were trying to chop some onions and in the process you chopped your hand alongside. So it can also happen. Choking, like you are eating and suddenly it obstructs you couldn't breathe well again, and you were struggling for breath. That is what choking. These are accidents that happen at home. And poisoning, this is a question: that is poisoning an accident? You can say that poisoning is an accident. And how can we classify it? Maybe you'll be curious to ask that, but you said accident is an unexpected event. Poisoning, for example, someone who wants to commit suicide, is it an unexpected event? The person might have been ruminating over it over some times before they just come up and say they want to commit suicide, and maybe they just drank poison. So is that an unexpected event? So when we're talking about poison now, an unexpected event, for example, somebody kept, there's food poisoning now. You kept food somewhere and you are not aware that there is a poison close to it, and perhaps because you didn't separate it, you didn't preserve the food well, the poison flowed inside the food and you cooked it and you ate it, you'll be poisoned. And we've seen cases in which people cook and maybe as we're cooking, we have this wall gecko fell inside their cooking pot, their soup pot, and they ate it and they were poisoned and they died. So that was an unexpected event. And even some little children, maybe that are still crawling, babies, and as their early stage, they think that everything is food, and they just got somewhere, they just saw something like liquid that looked like mineral, like maybe beverage or whatever, and they picked it up and they drank. That is what food poisoning. So poisoning, in this sense, we're not talking about suicide. Suicide is not an accident in a way, because it is not an unexpected event, because people who commit suicide did that intentionally. So they've thought about it, they've mapped out their plans, and now they are coming it out. But food poisoning is definitely different from that. That's what we're talking about. So you can say that poisoning too is an accident, can be classified as an accident. For example, falling down the stairs, touching a hot stove, or swallowing something harmful. So all these are accidents, home accident that can happen at home. So now let's look at, don't forget we're looking at types of accidents, and we've talked about home accidents. So now is road accident. This road accident, I'm just going to touch this in a bit. In another video, I'm going to explain in details road accidents. So road accidents take place on roads and involve vehicles like cars, bicycles, and pedestrians. So it involves cars, it involves vehicles, it involves bicycles, and also pedestrian. What we mean by pedestrian, there are people that are using the road. People that are using the road, they are not in the vehicle. Maybe they are trekking down or they are skating down. Those are pedestrians. You understand? So Road accident involve what is an accident that happen what on the road, and it involve vehicles, it involve cars, it involve bicycles, and also pedestrians. They can happen due to careless driving, not following traffic rules, or not paying attention to the road. So this accident can lead to injuries or even death. In severe cases, death. Sincerely, it can lead to death and explosion. Maybe as the vehicle collided, before you know it, there's a fire outbreak, and a lot of people are losing their life and property in the process. And the next type of accident is school accident. And just as I said for road accidents, school accident, we are going to discuss it extensively in another video actually. So I want you to look out for those videos so that you can get the full comprehensive knowledge about school accidents. So what are school accidents? School accidents occur at school premises. You know, we talked about home accident occurring within the home. Within the home, that means domestic accident, anything like maybe cuts, falling and the rest. So it happens within the confine of the home. But for school accident, it happens what at school premises, occur at school premises, and can involve things like sleeping. You could be walking on the slide and on the tiles, and maybe there is water, somebody spew water on the floor. Before you know, you slip and you fell. So tripping, sports injuries too, and even accidents. Sports injury is what we're going to look at extensively in another video. So look out for this too. And even accident in science labs. Maybe you pour some chemical, you're supposed to, in the process of trying to mix some chemical, you spew some chemicals on your skin. Maybe acid, it's going to burn your skin. That is a school accident. It is important to follow school rules and safety guidelines to prevent these accidents. So let's look at the common causes of accidents. Common causes of accident. Now we've looked at accident, the types of accident. What are the common causes of accident? Number one is lack of attention. Not paying attention to what you are doing can lead to accidents. For example, maybe you're in the kitchen and you're trying to chop some onions or slice some leaves, or maybe you just do one thing or the other involving knife, and because you were gisting with somebody and you're so overconfident of yourself, you begin to chop the onions or chop whatever you're chopping so fast, and you were talking, gisting, laughing, looking at another person. You are not paying attention to what you're doing. In the process, you can chop your fingers along. So when you don't pay attention, it can lead to accident. For example, another example is when you are not looking both ways before crossing the road. Even if it's a dry road, there are some careless drivers, let me permit you to use that word, that will still follow one way. So you should look both ways before you cross the road. But if you are if you're not paying attention to both ways, both the left and the right, you might get involved in an accident. So lack of attention can lead to accident, can cause accident. The next is carelessness. Being careless, like running indoors or playing with sharp objects, can result in accidents. Some of us were so used to this because you and your siblings, you're playing, or you and your friends, you were just pursuing each other, and the next thing is your friend ran inside, and you're not even being careful if someone was coming or not. Then you begin to run after your friend, and you run through the door. Before you know, maybe someone was coming, you collide with the person, you fell. That's what's carelessness. You shouldn't run indoors, and you should not play with sharp objects like blades, scissors, knife. They are not meant to be played with. Don't play with them, because if you play with them, it can result in accidents. Then the next is not following rules. There are some safety rules that have been placed in some areas, for example, maybe in the lab or even in the kitchen or some other places. You don't skip those rules. Follow those safety rules. Accidents are more likely to happen if you don't follow safety rules. For instance, not wearing a helmet while cycling. So maybe you are cycling and you're expected, or you're using the bike, you're expected to be on helmet, but because you just it's not that short distance, and you just feel like I'm not going to put this on, and within that short distance you had an accident and you hit your head on something, and in the process you sustain some injury on your head, which wouldn't have been so if you were to be on helmet. So follow safety rules. It is expected that if you're on bicycle, you should be on helmet. Number 4 is lack of knowledge. There are some persons that they don't know, you know. Sometimes you don't even know that this can lead to accident and you just do it. Sometimes not knowing how to do something too safely can lead to accidents. For instance, not knowing how to handle chemicals in a science lab. You should know when to, the kind of chemicals you know to mix together. If you accidentally mix these two together, you can have an explosion. So lack of knowledge. So you need a guide when you are doing something like that in the lab. Lack of knowledge also can lead to accidents. Unsafe environment. Number 5 is unsafe environment. An environment that is not properly maintained can lead to accidents. You can see in that slide, in that video, a student trying to play on a swing, and she didn't know that the swing is already broken, and immediately she jumped on it. The thing broke and she fell. That's an accident. So when the environment is unsafe, it can lead to accident. For example, uneven floors, broken playground equipment like the swing I just talked about that you are seeing now on the video. So broken playground equipment can lead to accident, or poor lighting can contribute to accident. When you cannot see clearly where you are going to, it can lead to accidents. So importance of learning about accident and safety. You might be thinking, why are we learning this? You should know that it is important to learn it for the following reasons. So learning about accidents and safety is crucial because it helps us to avoid harm and keep ourselves and others safe. So it doesn't only keep you safe, it also keep others safe. When you learn about this, you know what to do and you put the right thing in place. You will not only save yourself from accident, you will save other people from accident. When we know how to prevent accidents, we can make better choices to protect ourselves and those around us. So what are the basic safety rules? Basic safety rules to keep us from accident. We have an acronym there, SLLT, which means stop, look, listen, and think. These are the basic safety rules that we have. You should stop. We're still going to explain that. Look, listen, and think. This is a simple but effective safety rule to remember. So stop. Whenever you're about to do something, pause for a moment. Don't rush into actions. Don't rush. You're about, maybe your friend has maybe collected your stuff and ran away. Before you run after that friend, stop, pause, and have a rethink. You understand? Pause first. Don't rush. Stop. You're about crossing the road. Don't just walk from your street and enter the road immediately. Stop and look above ways. Stop. First, pause to observe your environment. Next is, number 2 is look. Look around you to identify potential hazards or dangers. Some of us, we are so careless, we don't even know what is happening in our environment. Maybe there is you've been passing a particular place often time and you're so used to that place. As you go, you should still be careful of your environment to check for potential hazards or danger, because no one could tell. Someone might have dug hole over the night and you won't be aware, and because you are not looking, you're not being careful, you're just being careless, you will go and enter a ditch in the morning because you just say, I've been going through this route every day and I know what it's like. No. So look around you to identify potential hazards or dangers. This could be on the road, at home, or in any situation. The next is listen. Listen. Sometimes we don't even listen to what is happening to us in our environment. One of the things I mentioned that can cause accident is lack of attention. So pay attention to your surroundings. Most times you can hear dangers before you even see them. Like the sound of a car approaching, you can hear it before you even see it. So pay attention. Don't just, maybe you're walking on the road and you're just gisting with your friend, you're enjoying the gist and you're being carried away and you're not listening, you're not paying attention. And before you know it, you can't even hear the car horning behind you, or maybe coming from a far place and it's just trying to get your attention. So pay attention to your surrounding. Pay attention to your surrounding. Listen carefully. Sometimes we don't even listen. We don't even know what we just say. Maybe, for example, you just say, hey, you start to run. You're not listening. Get to understand what is happening first before you run. I remember there was a time, I think then I was in secondary school, and it was night class. After the night class, everybody were going back to our hostel, and what happened was that Suddenly we started hearing people were shouting lion, lion. You know, in a school environment it looks weird, right? They were shouting lion, lion, lion. But I learned a very serious lesson from that day. So me too, I didn't listen. I didn't stop. You know, normally I was supposed to stop and also check on what is happening. I didn't. I started running. I fell and I had injuries on my knees. I think that it took some time before the injuries healed. And since then, I learned to stop. Whenever I hear shout, I don't run immediately. I stop first. I pause to know what is happening. I learned, you know, sometimes we are used to it, adrenaline. Normally, we want to walk. When you hear of danger, you want to jump and just. So I've learned to first stop and try to assess the situation before I run or try to look for a way of escape. I learned it during that, and since then it has been helping me. So when you hear about an hazard, or you hear somebody shout, or you hear something, stop, pause first. Then after you've paused, look around you. Okay, and when you're looking, you're not just looking anyhow or carelessly. You're looking for way of escape or how you can be of help. That's why you look, you study your surroundings, you listen, pay attention. And number 4 is think. Before you act, think about the consequences of your actions. Will what you're about to do keep you and others safe? With what you're about to do, keep you and others safe. So before you act, before you jump into conclusion or you just start doing something, you should pause and think first and look at it. This is my action. What will it lead to? If I do this, how will it end? If I put this here, what if a child is going to come through this route and stumble on it? And so you are thinking of others too. So we have looked at accidents, and we have looked at the different types of accidents and also basic safety rules. So very quickly, we want to look at overview of common home accidents. What are the common home accidents that happen? What are the accidents that happen commonly at home? Number 1 is falls, as I earlier mentioned. Maybe you're trying to climb down the staircase and you fell down. Then number 2 is burns, like you see in the picture in the video. So there's something in her mouth and she's trying to spill it out because it hurt her in her tongue. Number 3 is cuts, and number 4 is choking. So let's look at falls. Falls can happen when people slip or trip on objects, stairs or wet surfaces. They can result in injuries like broken bones, bruises, and sprains. And number 2 is burns. Burns occur when something hot, like a stove, iron, or boiling water touches the skin. There are different degrees of burns, from mild redness to severe blister and charred skin, depending on how severe the burn is. Then number 3 is cuts. Cuts happen when sharp objects like knives, scissors, or broken glass come in contact with the skin. They can range from small scratches to deep wounds. And number 4 is choking. Choking occurs when something gets stuck in the throat, like you can see in the picture in the video. The man is trying to cough out something because it's choking. So when something gets stuck in the throat and blows the air and blocks the airway, so you can't breathe properly. Maybe, for example, you're chewing and you were talking, before you know it, something just gets stuck in your throat and you started to gasp for breath, started to cough out to free your throat and to free the airway so that you can breathe properly. So that is choking. This can happen when eating too quickly or swallow small objects. So preventive measures for each type of accident: fall, keep floors and stair clear of clutter and objects. So make sure that the floor is not jam-packed, it's not congested with different type of objects. Even the staircase, to let it be clear of clutters or object. Number 2 is use non-slip mats in bathroom and near entry ways. You know, bathroom, you're coming out with wet body, wet leg, and if you're not on your slippers or whatever, your flip-flop, I mean to say, and maybe your flip-flop is even eaten already, the flip-flop is eaten, it can lead to accidents. So make sure that you are using non-slip mats or even non-slip flip-flop from when you're making use of the bathroom. And when you also near entryways, make use of non-slip mats. Then number 3 is install handrails on stairs and ensure they are stable. Handrails on stairs and ensure they are stable. For burns, keep hot objects and liquids out of reach, especially from young children. Number 2 is use oven mitts or pot holders when handling hot items. Then number 3 is turn pot handles inward to prevent accidental spills. You know, sometimes you put pot and you just drop it somewhere, and before you know it, you didn't turn the handle maybe inward. Someone is just passing, and perhaps the person is wearing a flare clothes, flare garments, and as the person was just rushing through the kitchen, the garment can just take hold of the pot handles. Before you know it, you've spilled the content of the pot and also harming yourself in the process. So make it a habit that whenever you put your pot, put it safely and turn the handle inward to prevent accidental spill. For cuts, store sharp objects like knives and scissors in a safe place. Use cutting boards and hold food securely while cutting. I will also add this to this: don't gist too much when you are cutting. You know, pay attention, because if you don't pay attention, even if you are using cutting boards and you hold the food securely, you might still cut yourself. So number 3 is teach children proper handling of sharp objects. Choking, keep small objects like buttons, coins and small toys away from young children. You know, they're still very young, babies especially, and everything they see looks like food to them, and before you know it, the next thing is they've put it in their mouth. So keep small objects like buttons, coins and small toys away from young children, so they won't chew it, they won't try to ingest it. Number 2 is cut food into small manageable pieces before giving it to children. This is not only for children too, adults too choke. So cut your food into small manageable pieces that you can handle at once. And number 3 is encourage chewing thoroughly and eating slowly. Don't rush your meal. There's every probability that if you rush your meal, you're gonna choke. So chew your food thoroughly and eat slowly. Slowly does not mean that you should now eat and just forget yourself. That's not what we mean by that. But eat slowly. That means don't rush the food. So what are the importance of keeping the home environment safe and organized? The importance of keeping the home environment safe and organized. Number 1 is a safe and organized home environment reduces the risk of accidents and injuries. So when the environment is free from clutters, free from congestion, it reduces the risk of accident and also injuries, because where there are no accidents, there cannot be what? Injuries. Number 2 is it promotes a sense of well-being and security for everyone in the family. Number 3 is it helps children learn good habits for safety and organization that they can carry into adulthood. And number 4, an organized home is easier to navigate, reducing the chances of tripping or falling. You can easily walk through that place when the room is organized, your house is organized, without the fear of maybe you're going to trip or fall. You walk with confidence around the house. But if your house is in disarray, disorganized, there's every probability that there'll be more chances of tripping and falling around the home. How should you respond to different home accidents? You know, we talked about types of home accident like falls, burns, choking, trips, and the rest. So how do we respond to different home accidents? Number 1 is falls. Stay calm and assess the situation. Don't just laugh at the person. Stay calm and see, okay, what made this person to fall at this place? If it's something you can, if there's an obstruction that you can take it out, if it's something you can take out, then if someone is injured, provide first aid. We're going to talk about first aid in a subsequent video, not here, and call for medical help if needed. And number 3 is, if it's a minor fall, reassure the person and help them to rest. If it is a minor fall, reassure the person and help them to rest. The next is burns. For minor burns, cool the burn with cold running water for at least 10 minutes. So you can put it under your running tap water as it's running for 10 minutes. And also another way of doing that is you can add salt. If it's a minor burn, maybe steam burn, or even hot water or whatever, you can just put a little salt on it. to avoid it forming into blisters. And number 2 is cover the bone with a clean cloth or sterile bandage. Sterile bandage and clean cloth is needed because if the cloth you're using, in case of wound, if in case there's a wound there, if the cloth you're using is not clean, or if the bandage you're using is infested already, you might get infected. The wound might get infected. So to keep yourself safe, use a clean cloth or for the person of sterile bandage. Next is seek medical attention for severe burns or burns that cover a large area. Seek medical attention. All these that we just said earlier are just first aid actually. So but if it's a severe burn, seek medical attention. Then for cuts, apply gentle pressure with a clean cloth to stop bleeding. As you can see in that video, that you see that woman, that lady applying pressure on it. So that bandage she's putting there is helping to apply pressure and to stop the bleeding. So clean the cuts with soap and water and cover it with a sterile bandage, just as you saw in the video. Then number 3 is seek medical help if the cut is deep, long, or won't stop bleeding. Then for choking, encourage the person to cough if they can. Number 2, if the person can't breathe, perform the Heimlich maneuver. We're going to look at this very quickly, and there's an illustration to a video illustration of it at the end in a cartoon form. So how do you, and step by step on how to perform the Heimlich maneuver. So that is also called abdominal thrust. If trained, or seek help immediately. Teach the importance of chewing food thoroughly before swallowing. So now let's look at how to help someone who is choking using the Heimlich maneuver. So we have a situation here. Imagine you are eating something yummy and suddenly someone near you starts coughing really hard and can't breathe. They might be choking. So what should you do? Don't worry. So you're going to learn how to help them using something called the Heimlich maneuver. So it involves some steps. Step number 1 is to stay calm. If it's someone choking, don't panic. Take a deep breath and remember that you can help them. Stay calm. Step number 2 is ask, are you choking? They might not be able to answer you, but sometimes they might nod. Or when you see them struggling to breathe, you know that they are choking. So ask the question, are you choking? If the person can't talk, cough, or breathe, they might be choking. If they can nod yes, it means they need help. So you can say, if they are choking, it means they need help. So the next is stand behind them. Stand behind the person who is choking and put your arms around them. Make a fist with one hand. So you put your hands, you can just around there, for example, this way, and you make your fist with the other hand. And the next is find their belly button. So you use your other hand to find their belly button. That is the spot where you help them. Number 5 is give quick pushes. So you push it inside. Hold your fist with the thumb side against their belly, right above the belly button. Then push in and up with a quick, strong movement. Do this like you are giving a big hug. Then number 6 is keep pushing. Do these pushes about 5 times. If the thing blocking their airway doesn't come out, keep doing it until they can breathe or someone helps you. Number 7 is get help. If the person is still choking after trying the Heimlich maneuver a few times, tell an adult to call for help while you keep trying to help. Then number 8 is stay safe and keep trying. You know, your safety is important too. If you can't help, make sure to get an adult quickly. They will know what to do. So now let's look at the Heimlich illustration, Heimlich maneuver illustration. Just watch this cartoon. I'll try to explain what is happening there. So you can see 2 people about to eat. The first person ate, and the woman too took food and she ate. In the process, she chewed bone, and the bone hooked her on her throat and she couldn't breathe. So what this man was supposed to do, that sitting me, was to ask her, is she choking? But he didn't do that. So a neighbor came across and helped her say the Heimlich maneuver, helping to thrust, and now we have the bone out of her throat and she's very fine. So that is how to perform the Heimlich maneuver. So now we've come to the end of our lesson today, but I'll just do a little recap before we go to check out for some questions using the Examguide up. You know, our topic today was accident, right? And we've looked at what accident is, the different types of accidents that can happen, like home accidents, road accident, and also school accidents. And also we looked at different types of home accidents, what can happen, and how to prevent them, causes of accident, we've looked at them also, then basic safety rules, and how to help people that are involved in home accidents. So very quickly, let's look at some questions using the Examguide app. If you don't have this app, I'll just tell you to quickly do that now. Download it and get the app. It's going to help you in your examination. So let's check out for some question. Okay, so we have this. I think I'm just going to pick only this question, and subsequently I will expect you to check out for some question by yourself, other questions by yourself. It says the following are responsible for home accident except. The following are responsible for home accident except. We have A, congestion, B, home design, C, poor environment, D, poor lighting, and E, slippery floor. So let's see them one after the other. The first one, congestion. That means when the environment is clustered, it's just congested, everywhere is just littered with so many things. Congestion can lead to home accident, of course. Yes. Home design. So when you design your home, maybe you use wallpaper, beautiful flowers, and you put nice setups there, can it cause accident at home? Okay. C is poor environment. When the environment is poor and the environment is not finally put in place, it can lead also to accidents. Alphabet D is poor lighting. You know, I made example of that when I was talking that, for example, you want to pick something from the living room and you don't have enough lighting, and maybe you tried to just walk, you can fall on the cushion and slip and fall, and that can also be responsible for home accident. And slippery floor, like in the bathroom, or maybe somebody spill water, it can lead to, it's responsible for home accident. So the only option there that is not responsible for home accident is home design. So see you in the next class.